Good morning, good morning. Welcome to 4x8 Paper Stuff. Who poisoned Mr. William Morris's roses? Wasn't this guy. He wasn't around. But we might, that's the next title of the next book that we found in the Sherlock Holmes series in the attic, no, in a burlap sack that we bought at a garage sale in the Cotswolds. So, number 2 is not my favorite already, but in the end, I know when I find these things that are not my favorites, in the end, they blend in with all of the titles and all of the pages, and it's fine. I am cutting out rose petals, right? And I'm also going to read to you now the story about the roses, this story that I wrote for the synopsis of the book. Mr. William Morris is famous for using landscapes around his homes as inspiration for his highly coveted wallpapers and fabrics. His favorite gardens are located at Kelmscott Manor, his country home. Last Friday, someone has reduced the plants in his gardens to stumps. Who would do such a thing, and why? Has Mr. Morris upset, insulted, or offended someone? Mr. Sherlock Holmes is on the case. That's the synopsis for this book. I still cannot fathom how lucky I am to have found these book titles in a burlap sack in a garage sale. So I'm just going through some of my books that I've dragged all over the country, all over the state of South Carolina with me, to find a good background. And I'm kind of looking for something that's deep and moody and dark and red, possibly for roses. And I think this is the one I pick out, but I have to make sure that's the one I want. But so much fun. Again, so much fun. And again, thank you for all your kind wishes. Thank you for all of your great comments. C. Jenkins, you're right in the ball game again. Wahoo, you make my day. Anyhow, all of you make such great comments every single day, and I appreciate it so much. And I'm lucky to have you guys. So, looking for this collage soup book. I don't know how I'm going to use this, but I kind of want to use this. But then I found this wallpaper. And, of course, I have William Morris paper at home, but I didn't think to bring it. I can't be responsible for what I forgot in the middle of a hurricane. That's my story, and I'm sticking to it. I'm going to use that one for a long time. Anyhow, so I'm going through this collage soup book in hopes of finding something wackadoodle enough to, Cordy, don't spit out your coffee. Wackadoodle enough to use for my background, but nothing's really flying out at me. But I think I'm going to go back to that antique like rose vintage one out of the other book, although I love that William Morris one. But it wasn't. It's not William Morris, of course, but it's got great potential. But in the end, I go back to the antique red one. So eventually, I go back. I think I'm looking through my papers to see what might go with this one. But and I'm also using one of Ali Edwards 6x8 papers to make sure I get the right size. Now, again, if you weren't here yesterday, I don't have a hole puncher with me, but in the next day or two, we're going, well, 3 or 4 days, we're going home. So I'm making a list of things I need to bring back with me when I come back on the 15th for good. We're here a little early because of the hurricane and no electricity and no internet and blah, blah, blah. So those little pieces of paper are some of the titles that I printed out ahead of time, way ahead of time. Pre-hurricane, that's a new term, pre-hurricane, pre-Helene. So I do have some black and white pictures of William Morris, and then I have the title, and I am now going to structure these little petals in the shape of flowers. Do they look like roses? No, but you must use your October Daily imagination with this one a lot. Do I like it? No, not so sure. But it's okay. It's okay. I am the graphic artist, but I wasn't a graphic artist in the 1800s when these were done. So they had to go with colors they had back then, I'm sure. So anyhow, those are also my stories, and I'm sticking to them. So I think I have enough petals now. I was kind of judging to see if I had enough, and I do. Ooh, that's another thing I need to put on my list. Craft mat. I need to bring back a craft mat because my table in my normal craft room at the beach, which is a walk-in closet that we do not need at the beach. We don't need that much room because we have 3 other closets. So I use the big walk-in closet as my craft room when I'm here. But alas, we're not setting any of that up because we're leaving in a couple days and there's renters coming in. So I'm not going to take a chance on them using my October daily ideas. You know what I mean? Jelly bean. So anyhow, still a little frazzled, getting a little better, We're kind of adjusting. So grateful that we're not, in the dire straits of the people in North Carolina, or in Florida or other parts. We just lost electricity and a few trees. There's people 2 streets from us that lost their houses. So we're very grateful and we know it. But in the meantime, we're playing October Daily and Sherlock Holmes. And my husband is blowing the leaves underneath the house, which there aren't much. But we do have a huge oak tree in front of oak tree. I'm scared of oak trees now. But we have an oak tree in front of our house, and it sheds a lot. And it shed a lot during what little weather they got here from the storm. I think they just got outer bands of wind and maybe some high tide or rough tides. But anyhow, because we just blew this driveway last weekend when we were here just checking things out. Little did we know we'd be back in 3 days. But anyhow, I digress. And there's another hurricane coming. Yay! I digress again. So anyhow, having a fun time playing with William Morris, playing with roses, playing with some crazy person that, Oh, you know what I just noticed? My story, the synopsis that I was given to do, said that someone cut the plants. And that title says someone poisoned them. Maybe they poisoned them before they cut them. I'm sure Sir Arthur Conan Doyle knew what he was talking about when he did all this, right? Right. So now I need stems he needs stems for the roses. The graphic artist for Sir Arthur Conan Doyle needs stems. Do these look like roses? No. Again, imagination required for this one. Anyhow, I decided that green was not the right color, and I'm going to take a scrap and kind of embellish it with tempera paint sticks and make it green. And I don't want them perfect, so I'm kind of just scribbling and seeing where that gets me. But again, I really, this is so much fun. Excuse me. Being Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's graphic artist is so much fun. And I'm sure the person that designed all this had a lot of fun putting it all together. So, and I'm calling my bracelet my magic bracelet for inspiration. So hopefully it works. The whole month of October. But having a grand old time. Trying not to pay attention to too much what's happening with the storm damage because it's just so sad. So sad. And yesterday we ran into my ex-mother-in-law's cousin. He has a house here. He has several houses here. And last year they had a reunion, and I missed her by like a day here. I'm still very good friends with my ex-mother-in-law. I know. I'm lucky in that fact, too. In fact, I've known her since I was 4 years old. So we ignored the couple of years that her son and I were married, and we just go on with our lives and still see each other. But I think he lived in Asheville the last time I heard, so I hope he's okay. He's a challenging personality. Bipolar and alcohol do not mix, let's just say that. And supposedly he's not an alcohol anymore, but he's still bipolar. So, yeah, he had a rough early adulthood life. And unfortunately, that's when I was married to him. But anyhow, my ex-mother-in-law's cousin has several houses here. And we noticed his truck under one of them, or thought it was his truck. The ID for the dealership was from the area where he's lives. So we took a chance yesterday. My husband did when he was out running around on the golf cart one time with the dog. And he went up to the door and they, of course, started talking and had a beer at his house, and then they came over here, and I was chatting with them, and they had a beer here. I hate beer, so they were and caught up. They see each other like every 4 or 5 years, but they got caught up, um, and found out that my ex mother in law is in the hospital. So that's not good, and I don't know if I'm going to be able to see her, um, or if she wants to see me. I don't even know if she wants to. She has those nasty cigarettes? Yeah, that's becoming a major. It's been a major problem in her life. She's been on oxygen for several years, many years. In fact, the last time I took my mom and dad to see her, um, she was on oxygen, not using as often as she should. So that's becoming a problem much later down the road, 5 or 6 years later down the road. So it's really, really sad. Anyhow, I'm making the back now for where the synopsis goes. Excuse me. Sir Arthur Conan Doyle's graphic artist is making the back. And again, she can't put the backs on yet because they're printed. I'm going to print them on the computer, and I don't have a printer here. Now, my plan all along was to buy a printer for here. We've had two printers here. Both of them, the first one was super cheap, and I got rid of it immediately to the thrift store. So if you bought that one, sorry. Oh, that little block I was using, that like sepia color block, that came from Dick Blick in Asheville, which is now gone. It was in the River Arts District, and that is now completely gone. So yeah, I'm spelling roses here just to give it some texture and some. I mean, the graphic artist is doing that. Anyhow, yeah, that block came from Dick Blick. Anyhow, I don't remember what I was saying. So I'm adding texture and stuff. So anyhow, the printer, I had intended to get a printer, and I'm going to bring it back and forth with me at the end of the season, and it'll be my printer in my craft room at home, and my printer here, and my husband can use it too here. But at home, I use his, which is problematic at times. And I got the scoop on a really good printer. So I think.
You can stay with me until I get back.
And why am I taking the dog?
Because I'm going to wash your car.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Gas.
Gas and car wash.
Thank you.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
I'm putting in an order. He's washing my car. Everything gets so sandy down here, and I mean that's just part of living down here. But he's fanatic about washing cars, so he's going to take my car and gas it up because we don't have any gas at home when we go home, whatever. So anyhow, lots going on with this page, but sometimes you kind of need to do a lot of art. Sometimes your graphic artist is scatterbrained, wackadoodle. So here's my stems for my roses. That has all dried now, and I can put this on here. Now, do these bright colors go with this antique red paper? That's kind of my dilemma looking back on it now. I'm like, why did I put the two of those together? It doesn't mesh well, but we're going with it. We're going with it. Anyhow, and today the weather is very overcast and a tad cooler, but really overcast. So I don't even know where that other storm is. I don't know what it's called. I don't know where it is. I know it's supposed to be coming along the same path. That's when I stopped watching. I'm like, nope, not watching anymore. Could this happen again? This catastrophic? Oh, I don't think so. But my husband told me that they released all of the water out of two small lakes. I don't know if I already told you all this. Lake Marion and Lake Moultrie, which are farther east, because they're getting ready to empty our lake, Lake Murray, which is huge, into these two other lake beds from the water that we're getting from upstate and from the Asheville area. Because eventually, like the French Broad and the other river that goes through Asheville, Sawananoa, I think that's how you say it, come into the other rivers that feed into Lake Murray from up north. So and our neighbor told us, he said the lake is super high. So just the natural flow of what's happening, regardless of releasing some dams upstate to let some of the pressure off some of that water up there. It's just crazy. It's just crazy. Mother Nature, don't mess with her. Don't poison Mr. Morris's roses either, whoever you are. But never fear, Sherlock Holmes is on the case. So I end up gluing my piece of paper here. You didn't see that. Well, actually, I'm going to use this background. And I'm just kind of outlining an area where it will go. I think that's what I did. Now I can't remember. But I'm framing something here. I think it's for the picture. For what a lousy graphic artist I've turned out to be. But I think this is where the words are going to go for the story. So I am out of time. The video is going to end. There's a cute guy at the end here, so watch him. Or he came at the beginning, I think, actually. Thanks for watching. I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.